Valentine's Day. I'm Erin Chase from $5 Dinners, and welcome to my kitchen, and welcome to this week's episode of the Dinner Made Easy show. Today we are making pan-roasted tortellini. If you've never cooked tortellini this way, stick around. We're going to get started in just a second with making this meal, and I'm going to do a oven-roasted asparagus to go with it. This is kind of my budget gourmet. We love tortellini, so this is what we're having for our family date night for Valentine's Day. My husband and I will celebrate another evening. So, welcome to the show. We're going to get started with pan-roasted tortellini. I'm actually going to drop the recipe in the comments real quick before we get started. And I have two announcements that are happening today. So there's the recipe in the comments. Check that out when you have a second. Get it printed out. So two things. To celebrate Valentine's Day, we have a sale on our memberships, our freezer cooking membership. It's a program where you can download one of 12, actually you can download all 12 if you want, of the themed meal plans that we release every month to help you get different types of meals into your freezer. Everything from paleo to Instant Pot to slow cooker to gluten-free. We pretty much have you covered. And then of course we have an app that you can use on the computer or your phone that you can pick out the recipes that you want. So definitely check that out. That discount is running only this weekend. You can click on the link here in the video. Gloria, thank you so much. Welcome. Hey, Casey. Glad y'all are here. We are making pan-roasted tortellini, and I'm going to show this to you. You guys want to see this really fast? This is totally behind the scenes. I just taped with shipping tape my camera onto my microwave so that, can you see it right here? Watch this. And it's shooting at my skillet. How do you like that? That's pretty funny, huh? So watch this. Why isn't it switching over? It's supposed to switch camera views. Ha! Look at that. It is taped to my... All right, let me get this going. That's olive oil. And I have the asparagus right here. I'm going to get this started, and then we're going to do the olive oil on the asparagus. Can you guys see that okay? I know there's kind of a bit of a shadow. I'm going to try and stay out of the way. Pan-roasted tortellini. We are legit going to roast, sear, whatever you want to call it, the tortellini in here. We want a little bit of brown on it. Right, Casey? We want a tiny bit of brown on this guy. So I'm going to let this heat up for a second, and then we'll get the asparagus going in once we get this going. So basically what we're going to do with this tortellini, I'm going to get this olive oil pretty warm. I'm starting to see it spread. So once that gets a little bit thinner and starts to spread, I'm going to toss in the tortellini, and I'm going to let that brown. Almost like you're browning like little pieces of chicken, right? I love this meal because it's ready in it's going to be ready in 10 minutes. It's one of the reasons I picked it to do here on the Dinner Made Easy show. I believe so. And then once we get this steaming, you'll see in a second, then we will start the asparagus in the oven, and then we will finish off the tortellini. So we're gonna hit this in an order that makes this as fast as possible. And if you didn't know this about me, I am super into efficiency. Efficiency is my jam, and I actually it's super thin. I love it. I actually just released today, technically tomorrow, but I got a little antsy and released it today. That is a 20-ounce box of cheese tortellini. If you want to do this all vegetarian, you can. You could do chicken or whatever your favorite flavors are. You'll start to hear that brown and toast. So I put together a class for small business owners or managers, if you're a manager in a business, to help you be more efficient. It is my program and how we operate our businesses. Yes, I am in charge of several, and it's how we do things to keep things running smooth and quickly. So I have that link on there, so if you want to check that out. I know we talk about food around here, but I wanted to mention it because efficiency and productivity and just basically being on top of my game is a huge passion of mine, so I wanted to share that with you. So check that out. All right, you can hear that kind of starting to toast up. What we're going to do, this one you kind of got a little bubble there. What we're going to do in a second is I'm going to pour in 2 cups of hot water, and that is going to shock and begin to steam the tortellini, and then I'm going to cover it. So the tortellini is going to get nice and swollen, and while that is steaming just 4 or 5 minutes, Then I'm going to get the asparagus into the oven. By the time I'm done with that, I'll come back and stir in all of the good creams and cheeses that we have here for my budget gourmet, serving my boys this Valentine's. Brian, we are not well, we're sort of boiling the tortellini. We're going to like steam shock boil it. Can that be a thing? Can that be a thing? We'll make it a thing. All right. Oops, we lost one. One jumped ship. All right, let me get him. He's way over here. Okay, you can see some of these are getting kind of toasty. This is exactly what we want. Can you see how nice and little brown that is? Tammy, I think you could still do it. I haven't tried it, but I think it would work. You might have to babysit it a little bit more. See how these are getting nice and toasty? You can kind of flip them. You don't necessarily need to brown both sides, but you could. You could also let it thaw, or partially thaw, and then you might need to steam it a little bit longer. All right, I'm pretty comfortable with how brown these are getting. I don't want to get them too brown. All right, here we go. I have 2 cups of water. Let that bubble up. These will still swell, but I am going to kind of flatten them out just so that we get a nice, even cook and quick cover. All right, so that's going. Those are going to sit there, and you can see it's already really going because I used warm water. Kind of get those shocked, and you can just, I'm going to let you just watch these swell up. Meanwhile, I'm going to kind of twist this and let you see a little bit of this asparagus off to the side. So I'm just going to roast this. I'm going to lay it in a single layer. I'm going to snap. I wasn't sure how much we need to snap these. I highly recommend snapping asparagus so that you don't end up with a bitter end. Usually it's right around here. And you can also do them in bulk. If you don't do that, I recommend it. It just a little bit comes off. It just makes them a little bit more palatable. Snapping. All right, let me snap the rest of these off. Then all I'm going to do, I've already got the oven going at 400. I am going to roast these. Again, it just takes a couple minutes. Can you see the tortellini swelling? If you're just joining us, this is my budget gourmet Valentine's meal for our family. And I'm calling it budget gourmet because a couple of the ingredients are a little bit more expensive, but they're still affordable. All right, single layer. Thanks for sharing, guys. And then all I'm going to do is just drizzle olive oil and just a seasoning salt. This is just like a seasoning blend. I think it's from Trader Joe's. Whatever your favorite seasonings are. You could do Italian because this is kind of an Italian thing happening here. Super simple, just like that. Going in 400 degrees for 5-6 minutes. It doesn't take very long. If you really just want them to be nice and crunchy, you could even put them in for just like 3 minutes. But I like to cook ours so they're a little bit soft. All right. So these guys, perfect timing. Write it. Brian, you with me? Still tracking with me? They're actually, like, I feel like they've at least doubled in size. So what we're going to do now is swirl in the cream. I have heavy cream, I have mascarpone, and I have Parmesan. If you wanted to use other cheeses, you could, but that's what I'm going to go for. And then I'm going to season with salt and pepper to taste. The cream and mascarpone are fairly bland on the salt spectrum, but the grated Parmesan has a little salt, so I'll probably add just a touch. Also, you could add in some basil, whatever you wanted to do to bring up the flavor of this cream sauce, you can do that. So, leave the water in there, and I'm going to turn the heat down. You'll see the tortellinis are going to shrink a smidge, but they're cooked, right? Okay. So, we are swirling in. Let me do a recap before I do this. I'd had about a tablespoon or 2 of olive oil. I toasted a 20-ounce box of cheese tortellini, whatever tortellini you want. Then, once they got kind of browned, I shocked them with 2 cups of warm water and let that simmer/boil for 4 or 5 minutes. And now I'm going to stir in 2 cups of cream. heavy cream. You could use a whole milk, but I think heavy cream is just richer. And because it's Valentine's Day and the calories don't count today, that's what we're doing. Just kidding. I mean, you know, make good food every now and again. And I'm going to swirl in the other cheeses as well. So the water in there is fine. It'll all swirl together here in just a second. Right? I'm going to probably use 3 to 4 ounces of this cheese. We got to let this melt in, so I'm going to stir this in a sec so I can get it in there nice and incorporated is the word I'm looking for. Jeez. And then I'm just going to use up the rest of the cheese that I have, the grated Parm. A pinch of salt and pepper. This is nice. I like this kind of top view. You guys like that? All right, let me just, and legit, look. In 2 minutes, as soon as all of this gets incorporated, in 2 minutes, I'm going to turn the heat back up just a little bit. I turned it down a little too low. So good. And we're going to let this simmer and let this sauce thicken for a couple minutes. We want to get it into every little nook and cranny of these tortellinis. So delicious. And if you wanted to add any other cheese, I think a mozzarella would be great. I feel like I lost my heat. There we go. There it is. I'm going to let this simmer for a few minutes. And then we'll let the asparagus cool down. And look at that, legit. How long have we been here? 12 minutes. So in definitely less than 20 minutes, we have this entire meal put together. I think that needs a little bit more pepper. I'll taste it in a few minutes. And then we're going to serve this with the asparagus that we have roasting that we will hear beeping in just exactly 1 minute. Because that will be ready, and like seriously, there's hardly anything to clean up, and we have this fabulous, fabulous tortellini meal that everyone's going to polish their plates. The budget gourmet is what it is all about today with this pan-roasted tortellini. Let me recap this. You guys, thanks for the love. If you have any questions, let me know. Here we go. Here the bubbling begins again. If you have any questions about this, let me know. And if you have any questions about my Frizzese and our Falling in Love with Dinner Again sale we have happening this weekend, I got a link there for you as well as the link to my Efficiency Masterclass, which is a brand new program that we just developed for small business owners. So definitely check that out if that is something that would be of interest to you. I know this is about food around here, but I wanted to share it because it's something that we developed and put together. All right, I'm going to let this bubble and thicken up. Why toast the tortellini? Just to give it an extra pop of flavor. There's the asparagus. I'm going to take that out right away because asparagus is sensitive to time, especially when you're roasting it. Oh, it smells amazing. It's that nice bright green that we're looking for. I'll see if I can get you to see it over here off to the side. Let me shift them over there. Can you guys see that? Isn't this going to be a lovely little budget gourmet meal? I think it just helps bring up the flavor a little bit. Lil, it just gives it a nice little pop of flavor into that toasted flavor into the sauce is really fantastic. So, I'm done. I'm going to let this simmer for a few minutes. Gloria's like, I'm making this next week. Yummo. All right, guys. That's what I know. Thank you. Thank you for joining me on Valentine's Day with my funny rigged up camera here with the view of the skillet. I hope this was helpful. I wanted to share this because it's a different way to cook tortellini. It's super delicious. As you can see, it's super fast. We started this video 14 minutes ago, and it's basically ready to go. So if you need a super fly fast dinner on a weeknight, this is fantastic. I'm calling this budget gourmet because this mascarpone cheese is a little bit more expensive. I think you could substitute this with a ricotta or even just another cheese. The cream sauce is what really gives it the sauciness, and then whatever cheeses you want to stir in, you could do that if you needed a more budget-friendly option. But that really wasn't horribly expensive either. So that's what we're having for Valentine's. Thank you for being here with me. I hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day. Dinner Made Easy Show will be back next week. I don't know what we're making yet. But I will be back next week with another fantastic episode, and I might sneak in before then, too. We'll see. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Valentine's Day, great rest of your week, and we'll talk to you soon.